Exposing Trump's false diplomacy with North Korea. Donald Trump keeps saying he wants to reopen dialogue with North Korea. However, the administration's actions don't align with its rhetoric. Despite Trump's rhetoric, the U.S. is escalating militarily in Korea. Here's a partial list of U.S. provocations in Korea from just February. Nuclear submarines deployed, heavy bombing air drills, live fire war games along the DMZ, Space Force war drills. Bigger escalations are on the way. In March, the annual Freedom Shield war games will take place under Trump's watch. This year's war games are 70% larger than last year's. This is an old playbook for the US and Korea, to speak of peace while creating conditions for war. Freedom Shield and other war games fundamentally show that Trump's calls for dialogue in Korea are not genuine. However, the implications go even further than that. While de-escalating in Europe, the US is escalating in Korea by expanding Freedom Shield. Why? The current administration wants to pivot to East Asia as its next major battlefield. Pete Hegseth has made this clear in a recent speech where he explained the U.S. needed to end the war in Ukraine to prioritize deterring war with China in the Pacific. U.S. war games in Korea, like Freedom Shield, have to be viewed in the context of the new Cold War. When the US and ROK hold war games in Korea, they can apply the lessons from these drills elsewhere. The massive influx of US troops and weapons also poses a threat to China. Beyond war games and other threats against Korea, Trump is continuing Biden's efforts to build an Asian NATO. Key to this formation is AUKUS, a new trilateral alliance with South Korea, Japan, and the US. AUKUS has divided Northeast Asia into emerging military blocs, including North Korea's recent strategic partnership with Russia. In recent speech, Kim Jong-un described AUKUS as responsible for creating a new conflicting structure, driving Korea and the region towards war. Based on the above, we can clearly see that Trump's approach to Korea so far differs little from Biden's. Biden also appealed for dialogue while ramping up war threats and creating hostile alliances like AUKUS. Trump's playbook is essentially the same. The problem with Trump's approach isn't just his war threats, it's also his administration's goals. Trump says his goal is to denuclearize North Korea, but this is a total non-starter. North Korea was once open to this possibility, but today it is absolutely opposed to this. North Korea offered to take major steps towards denuclearization during Trump's first term in exchange for partial sanctions relief. Trump rejected this offer out of hand. This decision completely changed North Korea's view of diplomacy with the US. From North Korea's perspective, this was the final straw. The Trump-Kim summits were the fourth round of diplomatic talks between the US and North Korea since the 1980s. In every instance, North Korea took tangible steps to reduce tensions, while the US broke its promises. Today, North Korea views the U.S. as an untrustworthy partner in negotiations. Pyongyang has shifted to a strategy of deterrence as the best option to prevent U.S. hostilities from escalating towards war. North Korea's military buildup is ultimately a response to U.S. threats. North Korea's response to Trump has been clear and unwavering. Pyongyang is rejecting Washington's false offers of diplomacy and denouncing U.S. aggression in Korea and around the world, including Trump's plan to annex Gaza, Greenland, and the Panama Canal. To be clear, diplomacy with North Korea may still be possible, but only if the U.S. were to take unprecedented steps. The purpose of talks cannot be limited to disarming North Korea alone. U.S. hostilities against North Korea, including war games and sanctions, must cease. We are building a movement to oppose U.S. imperialism in Korea and struggle for the national liberation of our people. Visit the U.S. Out of Korea website to learn more. usoutofkorea.org. You can also join us on March 1st to protest against Freedom Shield. I will include a link in the description. You can also find them on Twitter at NODUTDOL. Solidarity, comrades.